Reverences and Upasaka, Upasika and friends. Okay, good afternoon. Okay, or good evening. Sorry. I still had to think what I'm going to talk because the Q&A just finished maybe just about 10 minutes ago. So when I came, I didn't even have time to wash my face. Just to sit there, may have a sip of water, and I had to come here. Okay. Don't expect something will be marvelous, but just just think that, you know, it's a way for you to have a leisure time. You don't have to do meditation. That will be helpful. I guess maybe I will just try to give some of my ideas. But as I say, I like to say this first. This is just my ideas about how I understand what is important about meditation. Okay, might be perhaps helpful, but don't take my ideas as the absolute. Okay, it is just some reference and some experience I have maybe, and also because everyone is different with their own experiences. But with my experiences, maybe will help you to shape some understanding about things about meditation. Okay. Well, during the Q&A time, of course, there are lots of questions, and of course, those questions sometimes helps me to think what is really some people are concerned, and what's the different other people are concerned, and what are different differences between their concerns and my concerns also, and whether some of the concern which I had what I had experienced in the past, or what kind of concern I never had that experience in the past. And maybe certain concern that I had in my past, but none of you have those concerns. I will be going to talk about with that kind of direction. Okay. I think one of the main thing in the past to me, or even maybe to lots of people when they become a Buddhist, and especially when you're newly be a Buddhist, and depends on what kind of tradition or what kind of books you come along, or maybe what kind of teacher you met. But in general, of course, we know that we wanted to attend Nibbana. In other words, attend enlightenment. And enlightenment sounds like a very wonderful kind of advertisement nowadays, right? You have the bottle of water called Nirvana water, right? Actually, I bought that a few times too. And because even though I knew it's not possible, but I still like the idea. When I drink the water, I will attend Nirvana. And you know that even the Nirvana water, actually, any one of you drink that before? The brand is Nirvana. And they also have a kind of some powders, right? Kind of thing, right? No, I might be mixed up. I guess I remember as they even have a kind of Nirvana water. We have a powder on the top. You have to press the button, and then those powder will drop on the water, and it will be suffused with the water, and you have a kind of like a juice, you know. I think it's perhaps more like a chemical thing. I don't know, but I don't care. Usually I care a little bit, but I don't care at that time because I like the brand called Nirvana. And I have to put it this way first. Actually, my motivation when I started to become a Buddhist, because I find Buddhism is very rational, and it looks like the Buddha is very powerful. Okay. That was a reason why it inspired me to follow the Buddhism. And then, actually, also, sometimes people even ask me why I be a monk. Old days, in those days. And one of the main reasons why I wanted to be a monk, because I was inspired. I can help many people. In those days, I used to chant this. Do you want me to chant that for you? Let me show you a little bit of my chanting. In Chinese, okay. So this is the one I like to chant. Sometimes when I chant, I cry even. So usually the man is very shy to tell people they cry, but it's all right. I'm fine now. Okay. So the chanting is like this. 众生无边誓愿度，烦恼无尽誓愿断，法门无上誓愿学，佛道 I may be mixed up. 无上是不是 ？Sorry. 法门无量。Okay, I'm sorry. 佛道 Anyway, I forget already. 无上誓愿成。Of course, you have another one called 自心众生誓愿学。Okay, I don't want to just make you feel spooky. You know what it is basically? I'm sorry, the Chinese, I forget you, some guy of you don't understand that. Basically, it's a vow. Actually, that's the vow that keep me from a monkhood for a long time. That's a vow say that they are immeasurable kind of human being that I vow to save all of them. To the second, 这个烦恼无尽 and then the defilements are endless, but I vow to cut all of them. And the third one is Faman, and then the Dharma Do. Actually, Dharma Do means the method, the way, the method to the Dharma are multiples, not multiple. How to say? Cannot be counted. Are countless. So thank you. Are countless. So I vow to be learn, to learn all. And the last one, the Buddha. To become a Buddha is the highest one. I vow to be attained. Okay. So actually, that was a statement that this is the first time I exposed my secret. Okay. That was a statement I chant all the time. Even when I feel not happy, when I was a lay person, of course I'm lucky I have my own room. Nobody knows that I'm crying. So, and I was standing in front of the statue, not the statue, one of the pictures. In those days, it was now almost 30 years ago now. So, the pictures of the Manjushri, one of the bodhisattvas in Mahayana, 就文殊师利菩萨 or Manjushri, right in front of me. I only have the pictures in my room. So every day when I feel not happy, I chant about it. When I feel inspired, I chant that. I sing this. I like this really, really much. Okay. Actually, this was really one of it motivated me that I should become a monk. So even though the moment why I decided to be a monk was another story, I'm not going to tell that now. But generally means that was the thing that why I thought I should be a monk, because I can save many people. I want to attain the Buddhahood. I want to learn all kind of the Dharma Do, okay, the methods. Anyway, all right, of course I then be a monk, okay. I have to tell one thing. When I be a monk, I was not very happy one thing. What? Many things, of course. I mean, one thing I was not happy is somehow, this is my karma, brought me to become a monk as a Hinayana monk, as a Theravada monk, which I never thought I would be. Because the place what I study, the way that I study, and I used to read the text called Prajnaparamita Upadesha. In Chinese is 这个大智度论, okay? One of the texts called 大智度论. Or you can translate in English called the Greek Wisdom Treatise, but however that's only in Chinese. Been translated, it was written by the Nagarjuna. However, it was at least it was translated by the Kumarajiva. Okay. Anyway, because of those influence, And I still think I'm in the Hinayana country, so-called the small vehicle country, like a Theravada, which doesn't fulfill my vow. Remember, my vow is human are immeasurable, I need to help them. That's a very big vow. And I still remember even when I become a Samanera, I always remember that. And sometimes I disappear. And then everybody look for me. So in those days I have a different name, I don't want to tell it too. So anyway, it's me. So where did you go, Dhammadeva? I say, oh no, I went to a hall, meditation. I went to a shrine room at the Buddha hall. So what are you doing in the Buddha hall? Oh no, I just sit there and just do a little prayer. I feel really reluctant to tell them what I was doing. Actually, every day, every time when I feel not happy, whatever, I feel something missing in my life, and then I would go to right in front of the Buddha hall, and I would chant this, sing the way just I sing. But certainly must be better than now, because it's more touching. Sometimes you feel like you're really emotional, fulfilling, okay? Now, but however, there was one thing also happened to me, interestingly, and because the monk who took me to Sri Lanka suggested me I should do meditation to start with. Even though I was inspired by the meditation, but indirectly, actually, I kind of refused doing it. Let me tell you why. This is just all my story, okay? But it doesn't share with everybody, just only mine. I don't know whether other body have the same thing. Because in those days, the idea is, at least in our town, and there was a certain group of the Buddhists think that if a monk do meditation, they are the lazy monk. Because they only meditate, they don't do the job, they don't do things. So this kind of thought, it comes to me, it sounds irrelevant to me. But let me tell you, it does impact me hugely. Because it's not like somebody telling you, when you do meditation, you'll be very powerful. You'll be very highly regarded. People respect you so much, right? Maybe that craving will motivate you to do more meditation because you want to be more respect, you want to show you're powerful. But no, in my case, it's because I think to do meditation is a shameful thing. So that was my case. So that's the reason why, even though I was arranged to become a novice monk in a place, when I do my meditation, I had to hide, okay? And especially the place when I did my ordination as a novice monk, it didn't seem like they do, at least they didn't have a group meditation. So, and that's why I say sometimes every day is my duty, because my teacher said you have to do meditation every day. I say how long? At least 2 hours a day. That's the minimum. So I didn't want to do it, even though I somehow enjoy it. But then some idea behind me interfere me, I didn't know. But I just don't know why, I just didn't want to do it sometimes. And secondly, it looks like the temple I stay, nobody doing it. I don't know whether they did or not. At least it was my idea, okay? So that's the reason why 2 things I will hide. One in a corner, to find the time myself, that firstly to do meditation because it's a responsible teacher asked me to do. Not that I really always appreciate it. I did meditation quite well, but I had a concept that this is still not what a good thing, okay? Because I don't have a solid idea what meditation is. Conceptually, not my experience. My experience is nice. Every time I finish my meditation, I feel nice. But the problem is my concept telling me, no, this is not a good thing. The second, as I just say, I make the vow all the time, okay? So I have to say one thing. Until one day, when I stayed in the monastery, because people looking for me, and maybe I was doing meditation a little bit over time, for almost 1 hour they couldn't find me. of course they were started to really like worry because I was the only foreigner who lived there. And I remember one of the teacher, not the one who brought me there. So because the one who brought me to Sri Lanka, he had gone to the retreat. Basically, he has a small hut, so he just stayed in the forest and stayed on his meditation. Did his meditation, and I would just stay in the temple because I need, as a novice monk, you need to learn the rules and many things, right? The study. Okay, then one day I exposed that, oh, I did go to the hall to do meditation. And what happened is that, and then someone who in charge of me as a senior monk, this is a tradition when you are the novice monk, in the monastery, temple, usually someone will in charge of you. When you have questions, when you have anything need, you don't go to see the abbot, you always talk to someone who in charge of you first as a bhikkhu, as the fully ordained monk. And then, because when I told him about this, he told me that, don't do meditation more than half hour. If you did meditation more than half hour, if you do meditation more than half hour, you will go mad, And then I was like, oh, yeah, I may go mad. This is just one person telling me, one monk telling me, not the other, okay? So he just said that. I don't know why he said that. Perhaps for many reasons, right? Maybe he really believed it, maybe it's not. He just say for fun or joking, right? I don't know. But the thing is, I take it seriously, certainly. That serious thing make me to think, because I'm a Cantonese original, especially the Cantonese people, they know. It's very common in Cantonese people, when you go to do meditation, they say, 有冇搞錯你初禪走火入魔㗎? In Cantonese language, it's very common. So, of course, as a childhood, I used to speak that, well, it means, if you're going to do meditation, you will go mad. That's something like that. That's how the very common way of speaking in Cantonese. Not the Mandarin Chinese, but it's a Cantonese language. But then anyway, so that also triggered me because I was young and I don't have the good, maybe I'll have to say I don't have a good company, good friends, what we call the Kalyana Mitra, the wholesome friend. But those ideas disturb me very much. Imagine, those ideas when it comes to you, I only will think, is my teacher good or not good teacher, right? Because my teachers asked me to meditate for more than 2 hours. Let me back to the logic. And I myself, from the time when I learned meditation, people thinking the meditation mostly, at least in my area, the people say, those who are meditating are the lazy bum, okay? Imagine. And then now I'm in the area, and there's someone, the one who look after me, in charge of me, told me that if you meditate more than half hour, he didn't say you don't meditate, but say don't meditate more than half hour, you will go mad otherwise. So, and then I really struggle, I don't know what's happening, okay? And that comes up, of course, because in the past, even though I read many, many Buddhist texts, which I believe, I don't mean I read everything, but given that time and age, when I was 18 years old and 19 years old, when actually I started 18 years, almost 19 years old and 20 years old, I became a monk at 21 years old. So, and then given the time that I almost sleep only, the maximum I would sleep 5 hours a day. I read like a crazy guy, Don't ask me why. I think this is how I am. Even when I was younger, the same thing when I read novel, 武侠小说. So when I read those things, sometimes I don't sleep a whole night. Use a torch, not the torch, the flashlight, The torch in American is horrible, it's to burn the house in English. But use a flashlight and read. So I cannot stop. If there's a story really inspire me, I have to finish it, Anyway, now, it never really gave me a very satisfied answer what I should do, even be a monk, or what should I do even when you practice Buddhism, okay? All right, and I was lucky, I have to say, that somehow, then I told my teacher when he came to visit me, said that I have doubt about this. I don't know why I want to be a monk like here, and what I'm supposed to do. And then that my teacher said, okay. So he asked me, then what you like to do? I say, I want to finish my meditation. Because when I finish my meditation, I want to back to Mahayana. I want to back to the Greek vehicle. I don't want to be staying this. I didn't say the Hinayana, but I say, I don't want to stay here. And he said, because, then he said, then why the time you want to become a monk? Then I explained to him, because I thought I need to finish my meditation. Then I will be done of this. It's so naive now. Some people laughing at me now. So naive. That's what my answer. Okay. And that was unlucky of me, basically. However, then he arranged me to stay in the forest, okay, and to learn some meditation. And I have a really great time there, I have to say. And then there's some other funny thing comes to me too. Those are the things, I'm not going to tell the detail, but might be helping you. One thing comes to me is when I stay in the forest, that places, the teacher is very old monk. In those days was 90-something. And when he instructed me to do the mindfulness of breathing meditation to begin with, of course I learned it from my teacher already, but then he instructed me to do that. And then I did the meditation. And accordingly it said, if you do the mindfulness of breathing in breath and out breath for a certain time, and then you will see the stars, right? Like a stars, very bright, very nice, like, observe the open space star in a very nice environment. And of course that really, I think, yeah, that's true, that's good. But then you say, if you observe a breath for a longer time, and then the side of the breath will appear, and it looks like a moon disk. That's how I still remember very clearly. That's how the translator, I was helped by one of the translator, and the translator told me that way. And then, okay, I follow the instruction and meditate. And even though I don't know what I want to do that, to be honest, my mind still thinking, I want to finish my meditation, I want to leave this country, that means in Sri Lanka. I want to become a Mahayana, I don't want to be here, okay? So, but the monks are very nice. Let me tell one important story. If the monk were not nice there, I definitely will leave. Bad monk, Hinayana, small vehicle, look, because they are very nice. I have no any way to find any bad thing about them. They're very nice, very friendly, very helpful. But my mind still think this is very small, not big. Okay. All right. Now, then I meditate. One funny story came because I got a short sight, short sight, right? And I start to walk short sight. So then I start to, Nearsighted? Yeah. Okay, well, it's fine, it's all right, thank you so much. But anyway, I cannot, I wear glass, okay? I wear glass. But I'm young and I wear glass, yeah. I was just about, actually I was just 21 years old, yeah. And then I went. Happening is that because of that, I have this, and I start to worry, even though I have experience already to see something in front of me, but then when you start to worry, you forget your past experience, that you had the same experience. This glass had nothing to do, your eyes had nothing to do with that. But I start to worry, wow, I don't think I can ever finish my meditation. Don't forget, I still say this way, I don't think I can ever finish my meditation that I can run away, right? Because I promised myself I need to finish my meditation. I want to don't stay in the Hinayana country. I want to go to Mahayana, be a Mahayana. So I was thinking, I don't want to stay. I don't want to finish. I don't think I can finish my meditation. Because he said, accordingly to say that when I do the mindfulness of breathing, the sight will come here. Even if the sight will come here, how can I see it? Because I wear glass, right? And in those days, it suggests you when you do meditation, you don't wear glass. So I put on the glass. Sometimes I feel guilty because the teacher said, because I did ask, can I wear the glass to meditate? He said, better not to do that. So, so I feel guilty to wear glass because I want to see the sight here. So, but anyway, but I was still, in those days, especially in our generation, we really obey. But the master say don't wear the glass, so I shouldn't wear the glass. So anyway, that was my worry. But it's so funny that worry, I was supposed to meditate quite well, but I do see the star first. To see the star I can accept, because with my glass, without glass I can still see the star, right? Because they're not clear. But anyway, that kind of misconcept really made me worry almost 2 weeks. Just worry about that. I was never able to see it. I was never able to see it because I wear glass. And I still struggle and struggle. And at that time, actually in that center, in the Hermitage, I have to go to see the master every day, almost every night, to report my experience. You can imagine, I was so nervous. I don't have anything to report because I have a glass. I don't have a glass. So, but I never, one other funny part is because out of respect and our lack of experiences, I won't even go there to tell him I won't be able to see the sight because I don't have a glass. And I still keep that quiet. But I only keep it to myself. This is the reason why I always ask you when you have questions, just bring it forward, better. And those that you have so many worry because you are don't want to, show respect to the teacher. Anyway, all right. Now I want to say the story here is that the main part is this. Of course, and afterward, then I knew what happened and all sort of thing. It's nothing to do with the glass. Okay. Through the experience, even though I shouldn't waste my time for 2 weeks just worry. Imagine the 2 weeks worry is really a big deal. You stay alone and you just worry this glass thing. That you blame yourself, have a bad karma, so because you wear glass, and you look at around, most of these Sri Lankan monks, they don't wear glass. No, none of them. That's a problem. And especially the so-called good meditator, none of them wear glass. So, and... but I was in the area. So you complain all about, you put all the things to yourself and this and that. And of course at the same time, and I still use that, the verse to chant, the one I just chant. I want to save all the human beings. I want to attain the Buddhahood, the highest one, and so on. And the more you think that, the more you feel anxiety. Because you think that I cannot finish this thing, and I still have a great responsibility for me to do, and you just feel like, really, imbalanced the mind, okay? All right, and then somehow, I was lucky there in the States for a certain time. I was doing fine. I almost forget what the verse is about already, because somehow I enjoy my time, okay? So after I enjoy my time, of course, and I still, to be honest, even though I did a little bit quite okay with my meditation, I still don't know what is meditation, right? So I only know that I feel nice, I feel good, my mind is focused, and it looks like very, very relaxed, and very clear, the mind, and so on. And something really powerful appear like that. That's what I think. And I thought everybody's the same. Because I was just a new monk. It must be everybody is like that. So every monk is like this. Of course, they're much better than I, but they're like that. So this is how I left the place. And then I went to study. And then I started to a little bit drawn interested in the teaching, so-called what the Theravada Buddhism is about, the Pali Buddhism. Because I find the teaching is very useful for me, very direct. Do not talk something really too high, but it's very direct. Tell you what, if you have a problem, you solve the problem. If you have something to do, you need to learn how to solve some other problem. To me at least, that's how I feel, very direct. Now, and then there were some other teachings camp. Okay, I also go to join for the retreat also. And in the retreat, I also have a wonderful time. Okay, one very wonderful time. And after the retreat, and I also find that it changed me. But what I want to say actually is important is like this. Even though there were few times it changes me, but I never, even though I know it, but I never really trying to see the benefit of that meditation to me. Okay? Because the main reason, at least my understanding is, I never really understand what the purpose of meditation. My mind still keep on telling me, I need to finish my meditation, I'm leaving. Because that's how I promised myself to do that. Okay? And the other funny part is, I also never knew what does mean by finish meditation. I only knew that I want to become a Buddha. And this is not the monkhood I like too, because this looks like I am just doing something myself. I'm not saving people. And I was a student. Now, let me give you one important thing. It's really important sometimes how the teacher teach you. I have to really thank you to my teacher, always tell me one word. Otherwise, let me tell you, I will be really become a different kind of monk. Imagine, I always think, I don't know what I'm doing here. Because I want to be a Buddha, and this is not what to be a Buddha do thing. Right? So you're always thinking you should go to a Mahayana country like Taiwan or where, and then you can be a Buddha. So here you cannot be a Buddha. So your mind, sometimes this kind of mind comes to you. But lucky, that definitely will stop you to do what? To stop you to do studying. Right? Because I was studying that now. I start to learn the Pali, start to learn the Pali text, what the teaching is about. I find it useful, but I still think this is not the big one, small one. Not really, you have it, good. You don't have, no problem, you know. You know what I'm saying? That's how my attitude. But however, I need to be learning because otherwise I cannot pass my exam, whatever. I just do it because I have to do it. So that's that kind of attitude. Now, as I just said, important is my teacher did tell me. My teacher always told me that. I remember very clearly when I become a monk. Even before I become a monk, and after when I become a monk, he reminded me to this word. He said, many people refer to the monks. Many monks like to be teachers. And he said, but I first, I just like to be a student. Okay. And then the same thing, like there was the second time when I became a monk, he didn't say what I should do, what I shouldn't do, but he was just tell me the same thing. He say, you know, many monks like to be a teachers, you know. Then he say, I like to be a student. Then I asked him the why that time, like kind of like why. And he said, learning is never ending. Okay. So, you know, in the tradition in those days, I still keep this in my word. Something actually, the only word I would say, almost like only word I remember what he said. Almost. Because that word keep me wondering. Yeah, why not teacher? Why student? Right? It keep me wondering, keep me wondering, keep me wondering. Now, that statement actually, because it was told by my teacher, helped me to stay in Sri Lanka and study. Then at least I learned one thing. I need to drop my mind that about being a great teacher. I just had to remember I had to be a student. Okay. And I was, when I was younger, I was a very proud person because I was spoiled. Kind of like spoiled man, spoiled, not mine, spoiled boy, maybe. So, and whatever, that that's the reason why ultimately I was, because of studying reason or other reasons, then I stayed in Sri Lanka almost 10 years, which is definitely out of my imagination. Okay. What happened with that also? Even within when I was staying in Sri Lanka, what I want to say other thing about meditation now is then I go to join some other meditation and this technique and that technique. And only from there onward, and also through the study, I start to understand. I see, I forget that actually the Buddha also meditate all the time. Don't be surprised. I believe that I myself really know Buddhism quite okay before I become a monk. That's why I decided to become a monk. And I forget Buddha meditate all the time. That's one question. And what is meditation is? What did the Buddha do? Because I was inspired because of the Buddha story, right? And of course, and I start to realize maybe one of the reasons is why I forget the Buddha was meditate all the time. Our story always tell the Buddha was practice self-modification for 6 years, right? Remember that? Am I right? Self-modification for 6 years, the 苦行啊，就是 self-modification 的苦行。6 years after that, and then he attained the Buddhahood. So it looks like actually the Buddha spent the 6 years in vain, useless, right? It looks like, it sounds like that. It sounds like that. So that's how I go. And I need to rethink about that. Does it mean that way? Okay, all right. And when I joined the other meditation, there were so many different techniques, right? Some technique very much emphasis on like so-called inside meditation, that you have to really anything on the present time, almost like that. So it's also a wonderful technique. And in some technique I join, you definitely must how to develop this, what we call the right correct attention, mean the manasikara. So in order to have that the correct paying attention, you must have the nimitta, the sight of the meditation object, and then you must be able with that, and then you enter the jhana and this and that. It's also a wonderful technique, right? And then the worst thing actually is not about this. The worst thing is, in those days I also thought, okay, and I started to actually interested in meditation. And I started to want to get more information about meditation. However, and I also still, another way extreme comes to my mind. So the meditation, who are the meditator will be the good persons, okay, right? And I start to have another extreme mind. And of course, at the same time, my mind started to think, what I learned in the past, like the Mahayana, was useless. I don't have to really take care of it. It spoiled my mind. It was a time I think it that way. But I have to say, this is my first time program this openly. Even though I have this in my mind, I never said it, because I just keep it in my mind, okay? Why? Let me tell you. I believe it's because at least I was doing meditation. I knew one thing, something if I'm not clear, just don't speak it, even though I keep it in my mind, okay? Now, at least this I try to rationalize myself. Why I can do that is because I really still at least try to practice a little bit of meditation a little bit. So I don't criticize, even people discuss this, always we have this debate about so-called the small vehicle and big vehicle Buddhism. I would just usually in those days would just discuss it and then I would just forget it. I don't really want to stand in any position, okay? But in my mind, yes, I started to think this big vehicle, many things was something wrong. At least that's how I think. Okay? Then I was really interested in meditation. Then another confusion comes to me. There are people who go to do meditation. You think, these people going to do meditation, they will be very nice people. I mean the nice, I cannot judge people's mind, okay? I mean, in terms of nice, mean their behavior. But unfortunately, some of them not. That also struck me one way. Okay? And the other thing is, of course, because I thought if you want to be a nice person, you have to do meditation. But then when you go to the meditation center and you find no, some people, I don't know if it's true or not, whether they are really truly a good meditator, it's not my judge, as I say. You know, in those days you don't have the way to differentiate whether he's a good meditator or not good meditators. You only know he's meditating there, and you presume he's a good meditator, right? And happen is that, and they can be sometimes very horrible person too. Very selfish, very rude, very cunning. Many things comes like, you know, like a normal when you're in a society. And that's also make me another doubt again. The doubt comes to me to think, is that because of this technique is not good? Or is that because of the meditation is actually, after all, is no useful? You know, it can be because of method reason. It can be because of the meditation actually is just a fantasy. You know, let me get back to you. This is like, when I was studying in England, there was a time, I think in America, I forgot who's the guy named, he did write an article. I think the guy who used to write something on the Newsweek, not Newsweek, New York Times, if I'm not wrong. It was maybe almost 10 years now. I forgot his name. He was kind of a little popular guy. So, and then he went for the meditation, and then he wrote an article, which is actually when we study, we used to read about and see his point of view. Generally mean he went for meditation, and he actually after finishing his meditation, he wrote an article criticizing actually meditation, even though people find meditation is very useful to their life, but it's wrong. So, you know, he has a very nice way to write it, and I'm not here to discuss his paper. But I think when I read the paper, it really made me, you know, remember when I was that time. I also have the same kind of idea already. Okay, so the same kind of idea is because when I see some other people didn't really work, and I was quite meditating quite a little time already. Not that I just meditate one time or two times. All right. Then after this, what happened is that I also slowly pull out myself from meditation, because I thought I can be infested the wrong view about meditation. This is why I just, you know, pull out myself from meditation, and I try not to meditate, even though I sometimes have the urge I need to, but then I try not to, because I feel like something is not working. Okay. Maybe I want to say this. When did I change? No, when. How did I change to think that I need meditation again? Okay. And I have to say one thing is because of my mother. Okay, I don't want to say my mother's story, but because she meditated very devoted, and I feel like a little embarrassed. I'm a monk. She's a lay person, but she constantly meditates every day, all the time. And I sometimes feel I don't want to do that because I have my ideas about that. So when I knew this, I had to force myself, like, you know, I don't want to be a loser, you know, somehow like that. So now when you hear the story, you find ridiculous because those are very unreasonable, not useful. Now, and I just meditate. Okay, maybe I need a stricter point. I need to explain this. It's very important to say this because it doesn't mean that I don't have good experience with my meditation, okay? The only difference at that stage is I have some idea about meditation still trigger me, okay? Almost like you can be free like a dog, and then still you've been have few of the how to say, the leash tied on your neck. When you want to go there, it will just pull you back. You go back, and so like that. So I didn't see that. In other words, I still undermine my mind thinking meditation is a lazy bum thing. Okay. Second, what I'm learning there, even though I may have the idea of thinking the Mahayana, not necessarily suitable for me, but I still think, I still think this is the small vehicle thing. Because you only see, at least in those days, to my experience, you only see the small vehicle monk doing meditation, more serious about meditation. Okay. And then, worst thing is that because you see there are people who are in meditation, a horrible person. Okay. And I don't know how good they are meditated about, but I just know they're horrible. So, and it's so easy that convince me with those things, which with my, I would say, unconsciousness to tell me that there's no use to do meditation. And then what I was trying to do, even within the Theravada teachings, I was trying to read more and understand more and rational more, because I still want one thing. Of course, at the time, I learned that already, I want to have enlightenment, okay? And what did I try? I want to study more and make more clear understand that if I believe that, somehow when you stop meditation, what you will do? You will think, I want to read more, study more, study more, study more, study more. Then you have a clear idea. Then, bam, you are enlightened like a Buddha. Okay? Who doesn't want it? Of course we want that, right? Who doesn't want? We all want that. I mean, we don't want to deny this thing. We want that we can be enlightened right now. You don't believe that? We want it. Don't deny that, okay? I know lots of people telling me, I don't attach to money. Okay, give all your bank account, the money to Mac. You know, otherwise don't tell me that. And some say, no, look, there's $1,000 here I don't touch. Yes, of course, $1,000. What about $10,000, $20,000, $100,000? Nobody. Right? So people are really very proud, they don't really, how to say, it's like that. So same thing. This is, I didn't see it. Of course, I thought, I don't want this meditation, the leg is pain. Sometimes, the more you meditate, you have a good mind, but you start to feel your shoulder is sore, here is, and you know, it's like reading, you know, you have examination, you study, you can recite the thing to people, speak it out. Oh, people say, wow, you know this, right? That's how good feeling, right? Why not? So I wanted, that's the reason, not that because I want to, that's the reason actually motivated me so much. I learned this Sanskrit, learned Pali, and because I knew that if I only learn English, my English is so bad, maybe not enough for my enlightenment. So, and since I'm not reading that much of Chinese in those days, so the Chinese might not, and also the Chinese might not necessarily correct translation, so it might not give me enlightenment. So I really have to motivate myself to study all these so-called ancient language or so-called the first language, and then you make sure to have the enlightenment, you know. What motivates me is because I want to gain wisdom. When I have the wisdom, then I will enlightenment. So that becomes straightforward line to me. Okay. You always learn from disappointment, not yourself. Disappointment sometimes from the others. If in case you really meet someone that they gain enlightenment because they are reading a book, because they get a PhD, or because they are really, you know, really good at the text and reading all these things and can give you a really good thing. And of course, you might be really believe that. But at the same time, then you might be start to associate and pay more attention on the people who really are very good at that. Now, please don't understand that I still respect everybody, okay? It's just like how the mind going on, I'm talking in this respect. I'm not talking as a criticism thing. So then you also realize, no, it looks like the people, even some people, the more he think he learned, the better, the worse they are. because you have no way to talk to them. Only they talk to you. Okay, and they always like reciting the book like in those we call it as the tape, you know. Repeat that again and again, which I know that what is talking already. They recite it again and again, and I started to feel like it is enlightenment. Do you think the Buddha like stand up and then speak like the tape? You know, and if the Buddha really speak like a tape, of course I think I need to change another religion. Okay. But I want to say one thing is, and after that, I need to really have to re-examine myself again. Then I start to really pay very much attention to understand what is meant by the concentration, in meditation. What is really meant by the insight meditation in meditation. Or even I would look at it, whether there's something called, really we have to differentiate the two, something called a concentration meditation or insight meditation. Okay? So that's the reason why, since I finished my degree, I started to have this question in my mind. So, while I was doing the degree, of course, I still have the mind already, but I really found that on that's the reason why people ask me when I did my PhD, I was on meditation thing, because that was always in my mind already. It's not about the practice side, it's more about in theory. Why these so many different traditions have different way of explaining all this sort of thing. Okay? Now, but that also shows one thing, indirectly means actually I started to, again, interested in meditation. Okay? Now, let me just jump something because I don't want to talk about my practice, but I'd like to jump my experience. When I live in England, okay, one of the great things for me is I was as a monastic monk. You know, we have a very traditional way of doing like a monkhood. But when I live in England, I almost live like almost like a half lay person, right? Because I don't go for pindabab, I mean the alms round. And then I had to cook food myself. But nobody will cook for you in the university. And also maybe in a way, a little bit lucky that when I finished my training in Theravada, I do live in Taiwan, and then I have really a lot of excuse because all the Chinese monks, they cook. The Chinese monk, they have a very famous proverb say, the monk must have 3 kinds of knife, right? The knife of shaving the head, the knife of to cutting the vegetable. Right? What is the third knife? 3把刀还是把什么刀? What's the third? What's the third knife? And then the third one?
Cut off the front.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so like a scissors, and you need to mend your clothes, So, and so that's why I have kind of like get some excuse already. So when I live there, I had to live like almost like I need to start to think. I never know how to cook. I start to think what I have to eat, what I have to cook, Anyway, that started to help me to. Then your life become much busy because you don't want to eat the same thing all the time. And then you want to save money. It's very, very expensive to live in England. And I never know that it's so troublesome when even you want to think about to buy food, right? And you need to, sometimes you go to the market and I was not used to, and look at the price. Wow, this is expensive, and then like that. And you don't know what to buy at first and go back. I mean, those things I know sound ridiculous, maybe lots of people. To me, it's something like I become like a new baby. I never know what to do in the market because... Anyway, this is just one example for you to say, and my mind started to be agitated a lot. So, very disturbed. And I also have a moment that I just don't want to do meditation because I know when I do meditation, my mind will be better. But I just thought, no, I should not rely on meditation. I can work for that. Any of you tried it before? Yeah, I think I can work for that without meditation. Somehow, why? Let me tell you. And I did that, and for 3 months. And there was a time I slept on the bed for a few days. Actually, to nowadays, the psychologists say it means depression. I really don't want to wake up, don't want to eat, and just sleep there and wake up like a ghost. As a monk, imagine. And I sleep there again, I wake up like a ghost. And then I couldn't sleep at night. And then I don't want to eat anything. I feel really hungry, but I just have like a little drink to drink. Okay, that's okay, and then lie there. Of course, the worry and all this comes to me because my thesis that I need to work on, and I feel lots of pressure, right? Like a ghost. And for 3 months, I remember very well. For 3 months, it's exceptionally. I don't even do one meditation. I refuse it. Okay, you know, sometimes when you refuse it, you have more anxiety. And what you would do, in those days we have computer, right? So you always check on the computer. It's not like nowadays, just simple one. Check on computer, typing the thing, nonsense, and then, you know, whatever. Reading a lot of novel, you know, and just want to spend your time. Somehow, I guess, indirectly you want to merge yourself into like a layperson life because you suddenly feel like what do you stand as a monk or you stand as a layperson? Okay. That experience actually, after the 3 months, of course, I realized I cannot just go this way because I have no any motivation about life. I completely lost my aim. I don't know whether I'm a monk or whether I'm a layperson. But of course, I don't think that. I just feel like, I don't know, the life become aimless, pointless. Let me see what you say. Yeah. The thing it is, after this, I suddenly think that, no, I think I should do meditation. Okay. And then I would just, I know that I don't have, I was not ill, but I just feel very different. Then I just sit. And I have a wonderful time. Now the difference is this, I know many theories already about what is samadhi, what is insight meditation. Okay, not that I don't know. When I was in England, I know that very well. And I know this system and that system. I've been to quite a lot of monasteries before. But that time when I did meditation, and then I suddenly realized that it's a very big, actually I have to say to my, not about spiritual, but maybe for my life, it's really big turn. And I realized that, wow, when someone have one idea or two ideas, three ideas, the wrong idea, how can that trigger you even though you are doing the thing? So much, you know. And that's what I was explaining, that then I thought because of meditation is lazy bum and so and so. Okay. From that onward, I started to know that one thing. We must really have to appreciate what is meditation. Unless we have the proof saying that there's no meditation been done by the Buddha. Okay. So, and from that at least, even though I'm not necessarily always very devoted in meditation, but at least I know this is really one very important thing. And only when my mind started to recognize this, at least to me, okay, I started to feel the purpose become very clear. I'm not thinking about when I'm going to become a Buddha or whether I wanted to be a Buddha. Okay, I'm not thinking about that. I'm only knowing that, so when I'm doing this thing, and this is a correct path I need to walk to. Okay, and only when I'm doing this, so, and then it will make me better. And then also, and I believe that when the people have the correct way of doing it, they will make their life better too. Okay. So, in other words, even though you are here to learn this force of life abiding meditation, Sometimes maybe sound very small scale to you, or maybe you have been learning something very big, very important, or very promising, you know, no matter what. But I still think that we need to be very humble, and then we need to be really cherish whatever you learn. The cherish means you have to be recognizing that when you're doing it now, it helps you. If you don't remember that, you almost always, whatever method you learn, as I say, I don't mean only this method, whatever method you learn, you know that what help you what kind of method help you what kind of thing helping you. If you only when you cherish it, so you get the most benefit of it. Do not think that because you see some people okay, because you see some person might be meditating will disappointed you. And then, however, ultimately, you sometimes, if you really have this kind of idea, and I'm not here to ask you to do what, but you got to sometimes to be careful to think why you have this kind of idea. For example, when you have a kind of the mind want to put away this, something helping you. So, but anyway, we're back to a very basic Buddhist teaching too. That is, the Buddha always say, you must always remember, if you know this is wholesome to you, you must take it with you. When that is not unwholesome to you, you should put that aside. It's very simple theory. But within that, even this simple theory, if you can really see it with your life, I think you will have a wonderful life. I guess that's actually a simple point, but it definitely makes a huge sense in your life. Okay. All right, I think the talk will be up here. I'm so happy I've been done an hour already. So, and we should have 10 minutes break, and then we should come back here to do transfer and marriage. Okay. Yes. Can you switch it off? Yeah.